Guys, Avalanche, get up here now.
Everyone, go to search. Turn your beacons off. Go to search.
Beacon on search.
Beacon on search.
What you just watched was footage from the avalanche that happened back in January that I filmed on my camera. So glad I was filming at the time. But here you can see we're driving up to Ting's grave, which is that fence right there you can see. So George Ting was killed by an avalanche many years ago. He had a mine up here, and he was closing up, and he was in his cabin, and an avalanche took out the cabin, and he was in it. And so we're coming up here to pay our respects to him, and also to go over to the area where the avalanche actually happened, and right near where George Ting's was. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for following. It's that hill you can see in the background.
This is a hill where the avalanche happened. Sorry, I'm kind of out of breath. High elevation, and hiked a little ways. So this tree right here, this was the tree that Bob was buried next to. His sled was right here in this area, and then Bob was buried right here next to the tree. You can see from when we built the fire, there's still some ashes right here. It's kind of crazy. Here's a head sock. Someone lost their head sock. See if there's anything else we dropped while we were here. I'm not seeing anything else. I remember someone saying they lost their goggles. I'm not seeing those. It's possible when all of this melted that it somehow flowed downstream or something, but I don't see anything that looks like it would be a river. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, let's walk up this a little ways. So the other guys were over on top of that. You can't really see over there, but they were up on top of that plateau. They saw the avalanche break over here, and he didn't realize it went across that whole ridge and got him in the back. I'll hike up here and see if I can show you all that. You can see there's still quite a bit of snow left here because of the slide. They put a lot of excess snow. So you got all this here. The other guy was buried here. But you can see, I don't know how hard it is to tell how steep this is in a video. It's quite steep. I'm probably 35, 40 degree angle right now. But right up about there, that's where the avalanche broke. Avalanche started up there, right at the top of that ridge. Came all the way down. And we found him right next to that tree, and his sled is on the other side of the tree, just behind. They were down near this tree, and it was a remote trigger, so it triggered towards the top of that ridge right there and came down on top of them. Bob had turned around, so he didn't see it coming. It hit him in the back. Rhett fell off the back, and he felt the mountain moving, so he pulled his airbag, ended up down right here on top of the snow because he was able to pull that. Yeah, and then the other guy, I don't remember what his name is, but he was buried over there. So I'll see if I can hike up over there. So interesting, I did see this. It says it bearing tree. Looks like a lot of the stuff is worn off. This is pretty much the top tree. It was where that break was, but yeah, you can see the break started along that ridge, went all the way along there. And we'll hike up. This is that point. I think there's deer trails around here. Oh, that's slick. But yeah, so you can see pretty steep. Broke along here, all the way along that. Came down through here. You can see some of those trees were taken out. There's still a lot of snow because most of that slide stayed at that level point. But that's where the other guy is. He was buried down in here. It might have been a little further down because he said he was carried through the trees. But you can still see there's a ton of snow, even early July. We're not quite July yet. We're 3 days from July. But that's still a lot of snow for what time of year it is right now, especially with this not being shaded. All up through there, there's snow. But yeah, you can totally see that ridge. Once again, not sure how well you can see it, but it's a really steep hill. Shouldn't have been on it, especially with extreme avalanche danger. Just wasn't a good idea. Made a bad decision. It could have cost them their life. And I'm not lying when I say this, but if it wasn't for God intervention, he wouldn't be here today. Because there are so many things that happened that we weren't even supposed to really be here in this area. We had planned the trip. We were going up by Strawberry, which is, I don't know, 80 miles from here. And so that's where we were headed. But the morning we were headed out, we found out that the canyon was closed to get to where we wanted to go. So we had two options, and this was one of them. And usually we do not come up here if avalanche danger is more than moderate. But for some reason we had a feeling that if we went, we'd be all right. There was a lot of getting stuck. It was a deep day, which makes sense why it was such a high avalanche danger. But it was a really deep day. We were having fun. We told each other, like, stay off the steep stuff. We looked at this hill and we're like, we're not going to climb that. It's an avalanche waiting to happen. And so we stayed away from it. We stayed near all of the flat areas, stuff that I guess you can't say can't slide, but is a lot less likely to slide. And then, since everyone was getting stuck, me and the other guy I was with, because we had a buddy system, so we were always with someone, so we helped each other get stuck, or if anything happened, we've got someone there. We got stuck a bunch trying to make it over to this side of the mountain, because he doesn't have a ton of experience. He loves it, he has fun, but this is his first year really doing it. And so I've been teaching him, he's loving it. I've had fun teaching him and stuff. But so because of that, we were getting stuck a lot, especially with the deep snow. We finally got over here. By the time we got over here, everyone wanted to leave. And I think we were eating lunch at the time, and we finished up lunch. I swapped out the battery in my camera and started recording. And they're like, we're gonna head out. I'm like, I haven't really rode yet. I've been helping people get unstuck. Haven't done much yet. And so I decided to go ride around. So I went up over that way, and then I come back over here where it's kind of flat through here, and I can see down here there's a bunch of snow. And you can tell when there's been an avalanche, because the snow looks very different. It's very, almost looks like rocks. Then I looked up the hill and I could see the slide, and I can see over here there were two guys. Are you guys good?
He's got him uphill, but we're good. You drive.
Is anyone buried? There's one with a sled that's just barely got himself dug out, and then there was another one which was Bob's son. And he was looking for him, and I'm not sure why, but their beacons were telling me he was up there. And so he was up on the hill over in this area looking for him. And we were down here. When I came up here, sorry about the wind, but I came up here and I parked right here. Bob's right there. I parked right here. My roommate parked right there. My dad parked right here. My brother here. We all parked within 10 feet of where Bob was buried.
Everybody beacon on search.
We pulled out our beacons and we were pointing at each other, so we were thinking we were picking each other up. Or my friend Matt, who had parked over here, he had a more fancy beacon. It was more expensive, but he was showing there were 2 people buried, because he was showing the guy up there and then Bob right here, because it's able to detect when signals are blocked and clear signals, and it tells you, I think this one's buried. And he saw that one was right here. He's like, I got some right here. He walks over here. Bob's laying down, head about right here, feet down here, and his hand was up in the snow, and he was moving his fingers.
I got people. Everybody beacon on. I'm looking uphill. Is he on my? Are you still on? You hear someone or what? There is someone. There's someone right here.
Matt saw that. He said, saw the snow moving, moved it a little, found a glove. And then that's when my other brothers showed up and they just started digging like crazy. I pulled my shovel out. I'm moving snow out of the way as they're digging. We also got to uncover his chest because he's probably got a lot of weight on him.
You're on his chest. Logan, you're on his chest. So you need to kind of move to the side. There's only one.
And it was definitely an experience. I hope I never have to do it again, but if I'm able to save a life, I will happily do it again. But kind of crazy. Like, once again, you can see the ash from where we built the fire to warm him up. Kind of crazy. And yeah, so this was the spot. Pretty crazy stuff. Very beautiful area, especially in the summer. Everything's all green. But yeah, so when the avalanche happens, there was a lot of snow here. You can kind of tell by the tree. The tree was much shorter than it looks right now. You can kind of see the bare spots on this side where the avalanche had taken off some branches.
We set him up. Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Not a problem.
You guys did the right thing.
We probably set him up.
Set him up. And then, okay, Bob, we're gonna pull on your arm. Open that up. Grab his arm. Make sure it's dry. Don't get it wet.
There you go. And so we were about at the height of that branch right there. So that's probably about 12 feet up. He was about 3 to 4 feet under the snow, so he was higher than I can reach, but up about the level on the tree right there. So there was a lot of snow underneath him, so it's a good thing he stayed up there and not down below, because we showed up later after the avalanche had happened and we wouldn't have had time to get to him if he was deeper. There's so many miracles that happened. I don't think I finished talking about it. I did talk about it a little bit. Yeah, we were messing around. I came up here, saw the avalanche happen, called on the radio for everyone to get over here. My dad, my friend showed up right afterwards when I was talking to the guys that were up on the hill right here. And then he called on the radio again, and that confirmed to everyone they needed to get out and help.
Guys, avalanche, get up here now.
So they were already down the trail. They turned around, came back up, digging like crazy, got the guy out. He rode down. That's a miracle in itself that he was able to recover enough and from being warmed by the fire and all that to be able to ride back down. There are so many miracles that happened that day, and the exact timing that it happened, if we headed down before the avalanche had happened, we wouldn't have seen it. If we went after, we also probably wouldn't have seen it. It is possible we would have seen it, but we wouldn't be able to have gotten him out alive. So there's just so many things that happened that made it so that we were here at the right place, right time to really save a life. mountains. Crazy stuff.